Hi, my name's David, and I'm here to talk to you about Singapore tax compliance in Deskera Books. So let's click on Books. Let's click Set Up Now. Inside here, you can update your company's name. You can select what country you're from. Since we're doing Singapore tax compliance, we'll just leave it as Singapore. You can select which currency you want to use. You can select the financial year start date, and you can choose the book beginning date. So, for example, maybe June 1st. Then you can click Create. Congratulations, your Singapore organization has been successfully set up. Let's explore the app first. Next, we're going to click on Complete Organization Profile. Next, we're going to click on Organization. Inside here, I can see my company name and my tax registry. I can also choose the date format here. Under Finance, I can see my financial start date, book beginning date, and my reporting currency. I'm able to change the number of decimal places here, so I can increase to 3 or 4. Please take note, once you increase, you cannot decrease it. I can also select my number format here as well, and I can enable multi-currency. For example, maybe United States dollar, Canadian dollar, and maybe Malaysian ringgit. And then we can save. Next, let's go to Compliance. Inside here, we can enter the UEN number and GST number, and we can also opt in for e-invoicing. Next, let's go to Address. Inside here, I can type in the address. And then I can click here and it'll auto-populate. I can also add another address if I want to. And again, you can see it populate. This is so if you have multiple billing address, multiple shipping addresses, you can create it. After all that's done, you can click Update. Next, let's go to Settings. Let's go to Organization Profile. And inside here, we can see all the information is updated correctly. Next, let's click on Settings, and let's click on Currency. Inside here, you can see the currency, code, symbol, exchange rate date, and the visibility. So if I want to make other currencies visible, I just can click on the eye icon. If I want to make more than one visible, I can select them and click Activate. If I want to deactivate a currency, I again can click on the eye icon. If I want to deactivate multiple, I can again select it and click Deactivate. Now, if I want to change the exchange rate, I can click Change Rate. And I can update the rate directly on the screen. And save. I can also click Change Rate. And I can see the changes to the rate here. If I want to view a rate that is not visible, I can click View Rate. And I can see the exchange rates here. I'm also able to auto-update FX rate by clicking this widget. And I can determine is it daily, weekly, or monthly. Next, let's click on Settings, and let's click on Tax. Inside here, you can see all your different tax types. You can see the name, description, percentage, tax code, account name, and type. If you want to disable one of these tax types, you just can click on the eye icon. And you can see these are all your Singapore tax compliance. So you can choose which ones you need and which ones you don't. You can also add a tax or tax group here based upon your requirements. You can put in the name, put in the code, select the type. Is it sales, purchase, or both? Then you can input the tax type here. For example, maybe SR7 and OS. But again, this is based upon your requirements, and you can determine if it's pre-tax amount or after-tax amount. And then you can save it. And our tax group is created. Now, if I want to delete it, I can just select it and delete it. Next, let's go to Contacts. Inside here, we can add a contact and import a contact. Let's add a contact. Inside here, we can input the contact's name. So, for example, Singapore Computer. We can change the auto numbering format. We can manual, use our default, or create a custom number format. We can put in the email address. We can change the default currency. We can put in the contact UEN and tax number. Under accounting, we can input the payment terms, payable account and receivable account. And inside here, we can input the address. We can click on it, and then we can save. And now our contact has been added. Next, we can go to product. Inside here, we can create a product or import a product. Let's create a product. Inside here, we can select the type. Is it non-track, tracked, or bill of material? A non-track product is like a service product, sort of like aircon repair, electrician. What my sister does, she's a certified public accountant, so she does auditing. You can select a track product. A track product is like your laptop, your computer, apples and oranges, all based upon, products that you want to keep track of. If you select tracked and you go to inventory, you can enable advanced tracking and determine if it's batch tracking or serial tracking. We also have bill of materials. So what is a bill of material? A bill of material is a bunch of components that come together to form a product. You can think of it like a desktop computer. You have to put in your CPU, your RAM, your motherboard, your fan, and put all the items together to form this computer. You can also think of it like a recipe, where you have your chicken broth, your chicken, vegetables, noodles, and you assemble it all together to form chicken soup. You can also think of it as something where you put a package together or a deal together where you put different items and they all come together under a special price. You can think of that like hotel rooms, an airplane ticket, maybe a helicopter ride, and you call it a, travel package, and you assemble that together and have it. So what are we going to do? We're going to select a track product, and we're going to put in the name. So I'm just going to put in, for example, apples. Inside here, I can see my purchase account. I can see my purchase tax, my sales account, and my sales tax, and I can put in my purchase price. Then under inventory, I can select the unit of measurement, maybe kgs. If I want to, I can enable advanced tracking and multiple UOM. Inside here, I can put in the opening quantity, opening valuation, and select the warehouse. If there are variants, I can put variants in here. So for example, if you think of a t-shirt, you can have like black, white, red, yellow. You can have small, medium, large for different sizes. So for apples, maybe you can put in different colors, for example. So red apples, green apples, size, small, large. And you can also select, maybe put in your own. So for example, brand. For example, are these Fiji apples, California apples, stuff like that. And once you set up all this, you can save it. Then inside here, I can see all my different variations. My red small Fiji apple, my red small California apple, and I can go here and delete the ones that are not applicable. Maybe there are no small Fiji apples. I'll delete that. Maybe there are no large green California apples. And then I can generate it. And now it's been created. Next, let's go to accounting. Inside here is where you can update your chart of accounts, create your journal entries or bank transfers. This is where you can put in your opening balance. So you can put in the opening balance for your chart of accounts, for your inventory, so opening quantity and opening valuation. Opening valuation is the total amount of the opening quantity. So for example, if I put in here 10 and I put in here 132, it means that 10 kgs of these apples is equal to $132. Next, let's go to contacts, and this is where you can import your opening sales invoices and opening billings. And we have the import option for all three of these. And this is where you can create your debit note, credit note, expense, deposit, and this is where you can set up your financial year closing. I can set the closing period as monthly, quarterly, yearly, or custom. And I can select my retained earnings account and save. Then I just need to click the closing period, put in the name, and select the closing period here. Of course, the screen changes based upon what you selected in settings. Next, let's go to Sell, and let's create an invoice. Let's select our contact, and let's add in our line item. So maybe, let's see, red apples. Maybe I want to sell 10 kgs at $20 a unit price. And you can see the tax is here, and this is the tax amount being picked up. I can also say, is the unit price tax inclusive? And then you can see the amount changes. So maybe let's make this a bigger amount. Let's say, yeah, 1,000 kgs or 1 metric ton. And then we can then save and close. And then if we don't have enough stock, we can create a back order. So I'm just going to quickly create a back order. I'm going to create a quick contact. Apples are us. Put in an address. And I'm going to save it. Make sure everything looks correct. I can see my taxes here. And I can change it if I want. So for example, if I want this to be TXRE or anything like that, you can see the amount populates accordingly. And then I can save and close. Then inside here I can click on Bill. And then I can convert partially, convert only, or convert and auto receive. So I'm just going to convert and auto receive. And then I'm going to make a payment. So I'm going to select my bank, payment type, reference number, and I can go up here and change the currency I want to what I want. So for example, if I want to pay in USD, MYR, or Canadian dollars, I can do that as well. So just for example, you can see USD, you can see the amount changes here. And if I want to change the payment amount, I can change the payment amount directly on this screen. And then let's pay. Next, let's go to Sell. Let's go back to our invoice. And let's click the three dots and let's fulfill. Under fulfillment, we have direct fulfillment, pick, pack, ship, and drop ship. So pick, pack, ship is where we actually go and pick out the quantity, pack it on up, and then ship it on out. We record those steps in the system. Under drop ship, we record the fact that the customer placed an order with us, we placed an order with the vendor, and the vendor sent it to the customer. Let's just do direct fulfillment. I'm just going to fulfill the total amount, but I can also reduce this so I can fulfill less if required. Then let's get paid. Inside here, again, I can select the currency. I can select the payment type. I can change the amount. So for example, maybe only 20,000. Put in the reference number, click next, receive. And then you can see it's partial. Then I can just get paid again. The remainder amount shows here. Select the payment method, reference number, next, and receive it. And close. Now I've made full payment. Next, I can go to bank. Inside here, I can see my bank. I can go here, edit it, connect to Stripe, import statement. So let's edit it. Maybe I want to call this OCBC Bank. And then I can save and next. Then inside here, I can connect it to an account so I can search for my bank. So for example, OCBC. And you can see OCBC here, and I can sign in. But if I don't want to, then I can just cancel. If I want to find another bank, I can click here, can't find your bank, and then I can look under here for the different ones. So for example, if you have like a US bank, you can check under played, and then you can search for it. For example, maybe Wells Fargo, put in the username and password. If you do not want to connect, you just click skip. And then you can reconcile it, you can add bank rules, and you also can create more banks here. Next, let's go to reports. And inside here, we can see all our financial reports like our profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow, general ledger, trial balance, statement of accounts, and bank reconciliation. We can also see our GST report log. Inside here, we can click on settings. We can input our GST number, our tax reference number. We can select our first period starts. We can select our filing frequency, is it monthly, quarterly, or half yearly. And we can also click this checkbox if IGDS schema applies. And then we can save it. Next, we can click create. I can select the year, I can select the period, and I can select the different reports, GST Form 5, GST Form 7, and GST Form 8. So let's start with GST Form 5. Now we're in the GST Form 5 report. Inside here we can see supplies, we can see the total value of standard rated supplies, total value of zero rated supplies, total value of exempt supplies, and the total amount. So you can see the 20,000 that came from our invoice that we created. We can see the taxable purchases and imports, so the total value of taxable purchases, and this comes from our bill. Under taxes, we can see output tax due, input tax and refunded claims, and net GST to be paid to or claimed from IRAS. So you can see the output tax due is $1,400, input tax and refunds claimed $700, and net GST to be paid to or claimed from IRAS. So next we have applicable only to taxable persons under major export scheme, approved third-party logistics company, or other approved schemes only. So you can see that in box 9. In box 10, 11, 12, did you make the following claims? In box 7, did you claim GST? You refunded a tourist? Did you make any bad debt relief claims or refund claims for reverse charge transactions? And did you make any pre-registration claims? So you can select here no or yes, and then you can input the amount here. So revenue from the accounting period, you can see that here. Did you import services subject to GST under reverse charge? And did you operate an electronic marketplace to supply digital services subject to GST on behalf of a third-party supplier? After all that, you click here, and I declare that this information given above is true and complete. I understand that penalties may be imposed for the submission of incorrect return or provision of false information from the comptroller of GST, and then I can input all this information here, and I can go up and I can save it. I can also click here to view a detailed view. So for example, if I want to see document date, document type, the document number, contact, tax code, net amount, so I can see all the information, and I can click on it to see the breakdowns. And then I can click save. Next, let's click create, and let's create GST Form 7. Inside GST Form 7, you can update the information here, and then after that, you can go and click save. Now let's create GST Form 8. Inside here, again, you can update all the information, and after everything's updated, you can again save. Now let's go back to reports. Inside here, we can go to IRAS audit file, and this is where you can export it. You can select the from and to date here, and you can click on the GST report. And I can see my purchases and expenses with GST and my sales and deposits with GST. If I want to see the details, I can click on detail, and I can see the information. And that was a quick look at Singapore tax compliance in Deskera Books.